السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
I think you should put it on there and then we'll start again.
It's-
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 20.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, Maulana?
Alhamdulillah, good. Alhamdulillah, getting ready for Eid and, so,
Not grumpy at all.
No, alhamdulillah.
How are you, Lata?
Alhamdulillah.
How's your week been? What's been happening this week?
Like the Sheikh said, we're just getting ready for Eid.
What's getting ready for Eid for you?
For me, it's doing what the missus asks me to do,
Which is?
Yeah.
which is buy this decoration and get this for the house. And it's a bit, yeah. I feel like Eid, like I think we were talking about this the other day. Eid's kind of becoming a bit Christmassy.
Do you have a tree?
No, that's the only thing that's
Eid,
missing.
Alhamdulillah.
Eid tree, yeah.
Eid tree.
That's one. No, in terms of just for people, just understand, you can have gifts, you can hug people, you can celebrate whatever normally people society celebrate. You're allowed to give gifts and money, and that's in our culture. Like Eidis, we give Eidi like what do you call it? Like money. Like we give like
Eid money.
Eid money to kids and so forth. All of these things are fine. Whatever makes people happy, celebrate. It's a celebration. So all of these things are allowed.
So we can get a tree.
No, well, that's now you're resembling people that are resembling kafir. So, that's not allowed. So,
Okay.
and we don't have to copy their religious things. We don't need a tree. We can give gifts and so forth. Wrapping them up and piling them around the TV maybe or around wherever in the lounge room, like a Christmas. That gets a little bit weird. But
How about if we hang a prayer mat from the wall and put them around that?
no, it's still the spirit of the tree is there still.
Well, it's the spirit of the
It's like
prayer
an
mat now.
an olive tree or something.
With a dove flying.
Yeah, so no, you can't have the Christmas tree, but you can have presents and so forth. You can have an Eid day before Eid day, coming up to Eid, whatever, it's fine. Having presents, the Muftis have given the fatwa, giving presents, celebrating, giving money to kids is fine. All of these things are ways to express happiness, inviting people over for food and all that sort of stuff. It's fine, it's good.
So brisket your house on Eid day.
We're still hanging out for this
Yeah, I
biscuit.
know, man.
Yeah.
Ramadan's finished. What happened?
Yeah, Eid for, because I'm following the Hilal Sighting, most likely be Friday, maybe
Most likely?
Thursday,
Okay.
maybe Thursday, unlikely, but let's see, because tomorrow night, Wednesday night, so this is recorded on Tuesday night, so tomorrow we'll go for the Hilal Sighting, and
Where do you go?
in my backyard. Sometimes I drive up different places, Craigieburn or Doncaster. Usually I do it in Doncaster. I go to Westfield, and on the second level of the car park,
That's
the third
hilarious.
level. Yeah, no, because you get a straight view, drops down, and you get the city, the whole skyline. So yeah, it's Doncaster Hill, so you got a high vantage point.
Well, if it's Thursday
with a
night,
lot of rich people around.
If it's
Lot
Thursday
of-
night, it's going to be quite interesting because there's late night shopping.
No,
There's
Tuesday.
Maulana staying up there.
Wednesday night. Wednesday night's society.
Okay, so
Or
if it doesn't
Thursday
happen
off.
Wednesday night, then it's definitely Friday.
Thursday. I think the Board of Imams announced for Thursday.
Yes.
So how did they cite it?
They didn't cite it. They based it on a. It's sort of a weird thing. I find it strange. I did bring it up, but whether people are interested or not. But my view is that the calculation is based on the quote unquote the possibility imkanu ru'ya, which means a possibility of sighting in Australia. The problem with that is if it is not cited, then it was never possible. So your calculation needs to be refined a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're following calculations that are based on local sighting, that within Australia, we should see it on Wednesday night.
Yep.
But if you don't see it, and then also,
Okay.
and also they're saying we're completing 30 days. The problem is that you didn't follow the same procedure at the beginning of the month, that you're following end of the month. So then you have an extra day there, then you extending one day here.
So for that purposes, it has to be Thursday.
It has to be Thursday, yeah. They can't go even to Friday. So that's why you need to do 12 months a year, which the group that I'm part of that do 12 months a year. And it's so if you are following, this is my to bring it into harmony, the calculation and the thing. Let's say, all right, let's assume we want to bring the community, they need to know in advance. Do a calculation that's just more accurate. It's very simple. Just do a more accurate calculation that will coincide with the local.
How do you do a more accurate calculation?
Because the moon has got a set orbit. That's how you have those visibility charts and so forth. Like you have 30 years of data of every month sighting being done by Muslims in Australia. So all that records are there when Eid was done, when Ramadan was started. So you have data. And actually, astronomers know what, there's precise detail. But if you don't see it, like imagine you do a calculation and you don't see it, that means the calculation's off. So then you need to adjust the calculation to the actual. The actual sighting should be the check mechanism, confirm your calculation is correct or not.
Okay.
So that's, anyway, whether people interested in that. But there were some strong viewpoints from many masjids in Melbourne. They expressed in very strong words. Basically, we abandoning the sunnah, because for me,
is that right?
Calculations of so some new masjid sort of seems to have come on board now with the Hilal sighting. And the head said basically, this is established for 1400 years. This thing of calculation is like one person within one madhab imam, but he had a view, and it's not even the fatwas in the madhab, in the Shafi madhab, is not even given on that. Like views are narrated within a madhab, they're not the standard view, they're not the relied upon opinion. And that view is narrated by the madhab to show that this is a view that we know about, but we never accept it as the mainstream view.
Okay.
So like a view is narrated within a madhab. There's like multiple views on an issue, but then the one that is considered as the standardized and the best and strongest according to that school. So according to no madhab, the official stance is that we follow calculations. So that's the first thing we got to get out there in the community. People who say, well, there's difference. And there's no difference on this because the four schools agree upon this.
Yep.
Where's the difference is how far do you take it? Do you take it from region, city, and so forth?
Yep.
So let's say we take it from a land Australia.
We discussed that.
Yeah, we have to put a limit. At the beginning of the month we discussed it. We put a limit. Let's say Australia, it's practical, it's one jurisdiction, we can check it.
Yeah.
We don't have to go to neighbouring countries. Some people do. That's legitimate. That's legitimate because we're in Melbourne right at the bottom. Darwin and Perth is already far for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in Darwin or Brisbane maybe, like you're almost the same distance to Indonesia. So it's perspective. Like depending on where you are in the world, right? I might be going to Broome at the end of this month for holidays, maybe. Inshallah. Inshallah. Hopefully this COVID thing doesn't mess up anything because it's new cases and
there's only one new case, but that hasn't messed anything up.
Yeah, but they're checking Woolworths and all that sort of stuff and shops and restaurants he's been and none of his relatives got it. Did he get vaccinated as well?
I don't know if he got vaccinated.
He went through quarantine.
But the quarantine, he actually picked it up in the hallway of the hotel.
Oh, God.
Because before him, another person that had COVID walked through the hallway.
Anyway, so if you're in Broome, which is part of Australia, you're more closer to Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore than you are to Melbourne. So this is the dilemma as well. Like where you are located, maybe especially in the northern states, they have a different perspective maybe. Fiji's that close, Indonesia's right next to us, that sort of thing. They might have a different
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for Australia, like it's
Just do one
I
country.
have more. I'm content, and I will never, inshallah, follow calculations because I don't believe that's what Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has ever taught us
Sallallahu
directly in that way, like the way that it's been. We can use it as a guide, but not as a decision making, as a final decision based on that. So in conclusion, I don't think this is a solvable solution unless people are very serious about the sunnah. But we can't, like, the discussions are shut down, and if you push this view or try to push the sunnah of Hilal sighting, brothers, we have to unite. Nobody's saying anything about disunity. Let's try to get the most accurate view.
I think there's a lot more we need to unite on at the moment. What's happening all over the world.
Yeah. So it's what I'm saying is, like, people hide behind unity and brotherhood, which is not the real issue here. The issue is like,
Convenience.
let's try to get the thing right and just move on to the next issue. Right? Let's get the Eid in the country on one page, which is very hard because the Turks, they will follow their government regardless. Majority of Turks will follow the ANAT, the religious state body of Turkey, and they have a calendar. They've abandoned Hilal a long time ago. I don't know who invented it, whether it was Mustafa Kemal or who invented it actually, and people, they still follow it till now, and they won't budge from that. I'm not sure in Turkey there's a different view in Hilal or something, where everyone closes the ranks on that issue and they don't try to even discuss it from a fiqh point of view. But so you're still going to have this issue, right?
Yeah.
You're going to still have this issue. So I get it about the unity thing, but I think the peak bodies, at least, they should, or like the Afiq or Anik or all these bodies, they should come to a conclusion on actual Hilal sighting, revive this sunnah. Especially, you get the reward of 100 shaheeds, man, practicing a sunnah in a time when it's not being practiced. So, and people, I read some of the fatwas that are coming. It's funny that some of these fatwas, they come from like Shaykh Qaradawi and other people, big ulama. And, but like in their own country, nobody listens to them. Like they're based in Qatar or Saudi or Egypt. Nobody listens to that. That's actually not even followed by anybody in the region. Like they voice this view, but nobody actually listens to them on that issue.
But we do over here.
But they're academically, exactly, they're academic like pieces, they're written, whatever. But if you look at it, they said, the Prophet ﷺ was for that. It's sort of almost, without even disparaging, astaghfirullah azim, one of those letters that emails came from one of the mosques this week was the head of one of the mosques in Melbourne. He said, to say that Rasulullah ﷺ did not give us complete guidance on this issue, and then we have to figure out a different way of doing it later. This is a disrespect, or you can say, to Rasulullah ﷺ in the sense of that we have not acknowledged his perfection in his words and in his wisdom. But anyway, this is like he put it in very strong terms. Like Rasulullah ﷺ's words are complete. He's a perfect human being. His speech is perfect, and he has given us a complete solution. And he knew what this ummah will come through. So he's given us something beautiful. One of the ulama in Pakistan, I remember listening to him, and he's put it very nicely, or not very nicely, maybe some people might get offended. He said, the people who follow calculations, he goes, they are...
Think twice before you say this. Now I'm worried. I'm actually
No. He said...
Where's he going with this?
No, I'm quoting somebody else. I think
I'm still
I've
wondering
quoted
where
on this
you're going.
podcast before as well. He said, those people are... they follow they don't understand muhabba, they don't understand love. Allah wants to surprise you, and you want to wreck that surprise. He goes, those people are stupid.
I like that to the love thing, and then he just went.
He said, he goes, they don't understand ishq, they don't understand love. Allah wants to surprise you. You go out, look at the sky, and he goes, you want to even like people want to wreck that as well, and tell you.
That's actually a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah, it's a surprise. Like it's exciting. I remember as a kid in Pakistan, like everybody goes out. The whole suburb is out in Maghrib is standing in the street, just imagine people, thousands of people looking up the sky trying to see the Hilal.
And what happens when they do? Allahu Akbar.
I can't remember, but I have the memory of people out in the streets. Standing trying to spot the Hilal.
Pakistan, bro.
Huh?
They're always out in the streets.
No. That's Pathans. They pray, man. So maybe other communities don't, but they pray. So the mosque is full. The whole suburb is outside, and
Have you found preparing for Eid different with the baby?
Oh, yeah.
Has anything changed?
Yeah. I mean, the difference is that you're not as free to move around. Like you've got to coordinate with the other half. Who gets to leave the house, who has to stay with the baby.
Why doesn't the baby just come with you guys?
Because there's a bit of a head door, bro.
Are you doing anything to make it memorable for the baby?
Yeah. I mean,
but he won't remember anyway. I'm just letting you know. Don't waste your time too much on
that's true too.
He will not remember what you dressed him as. He will not remember anything.
He will feel it.
No, he won't.
He will feel it in his soul, and it's the development of the soul.
It will not affect him in the. He will not have no idea.
This is what happens when your dad doesn't praise you. It's not Eid. Get over it.
No. But he will not remember. He will not remember. Anyway.
So you were saying coordination. Is there a head door? How?
No, it's because he's a baby. He doesn't care about our timetable, what we're doing.
That's true. I should know that.
Yeah, it's just when he needs his diaper change, he needs his diaper change. When he wants his bottle, he wants his bottle. When he wants to go to sleep, he wants to go to sleep. If we're on the middle of the road or the freeway, doesn't care.
Hazards.
Well,
hazards. Park the car.
Nah, that's. I think it's just easier if we coordinate between each other.
What about yourself? What's your preparation been, Mama?
Nothing much. Take the kids tomorrow shopping. I'll give them the Eid present before Eid. Yeah. I can't bother on the Russian end day of Eid because I'm going to eat. But other than that, just a little bit shopping, and I'm taking my holidays in 2 weeks.
Oh, mashallah. Speaking of going to eat, where are we at? How many kilos this week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm hovering at the same. I'm not sure what happened.
He's pulling a Dogecoin right now.
No. What happened to Dogecoin?
Lada, I'll let you be.
This is why you don't buy meme currency. Even that expression tells you something. This is not how
No, people made a lot.
Yeah, all right.
But you buy it when
there's
it's
people
low.
made a lot in Tats Lotto as well.
You don't buy it when it's 90 cents.
People make on scratchies as well. But
to be honest, I'm on the same page as you, Amal, because that
he's been like on that page from day one.
Yeah, I just did not like that that particular type of currency because, as you said,
it's a mockery of
the whole ecosystem of whatever crypto is trying to do.
Yeah, crypto is more, I would say, until Doge, it was more like a. I mean, there were the sort of what do you call it? The Wild West sort of stuff. Some of these dodgy ones, but now and through that,
it is settling,
and you got like it's more becoming like a what do you call it?
Mainstream
Forex.
Yeah,
it's becoming now a stable Forex exchange of bitcoins, and you can trade in and so forth. And it's got overlaps now with Forex and investments and so forth. That's fine, but this was like these are get rich quick. They're
called pump and dumps.
Yeah. Okay. A lot.
Pump it and dump it.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Yeah. So it's becoming. How do we get on crypto?
Just a disclaimer: this is not financial advice. We don't know what we're. We're
absolutely
this is
no
just our
idea.
opinion.
We have a little bit of idea.
We've lost more money than we've made.
So that's the thing. That's what I wanted to say was that I was listening to somebody who was talking about NFTs earlier. And non-fungible tokens,
but it's in its infancy. Don't forget that.
Yeah, so they were talking. They said a lot of this NFTs and also cryptos. They are there's like 1% stories of successes which have been sold up.
Yep.
And there's probably 99 stories of failures, and that's what people don't see. Very few are. Most people are ashamed to talk about their failures, and the majority are failing. But nobody talks about that, and that's the hidden part of it. In trading in general.
Failing?
Yes, probably about 9 in all trading, not even crypto. Even if you went to just a regular stock market,
day trading.
Yeah, not day trade. Just if you're investing, day trading, swing trading, whatever it is, even in Forex, 90% of people who participate in that fail. So only 10% actually make money, or actually make a profit, whereas the rest are. Yeah, it's a tough
What
gig.
happened?
I just checked the audio was recording.
Oh, okay.
I
can see it from here. Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah, sorry, I can't see it.
Yeah, but we saw that last time as well when it didn't record.
Nah, but that was a power outage. The power went off and then probably did something.
No, it's on. So that's the part of it. So just a few questions came up. So this is a disclaimer to anybody listening to this podcast. It's very important that people asked about NFTs and cryptos, they asked about aqidah issues or dawah or advice, so forth. Firstly, this podcast is called the Masjid Carpark for a reason. It's not inside the masjid we're giving a formal dars. I'm giving a formal dars there or fatwa. We discuss some masail here and there, but at the end of the day, you still have to go to the ulama, and your specific case and specific question, you have to ask the ulama directly, and they will answer you, and they will ask the questions they need to ask to figure out your situation. And so this is not a fatwa program, 100% it's not. We talk about dini things, and if I know something or, about I've studied it or know from ulama.
Or if we know something.
If they know something.
What was the laughter for?
Inshallah, you'll know something. And so people asked about, because we make fun of crypto. I make fun of crypto or the crypto investors and so forth. But at the end of the day, the fatwa on, say, crypto, and I think I've mentioned this, and this is not somebody listened to the podcast and about smoking in the masjid.
Yeah.
So they took that as sort of almost like, not literally, but they were saying, you're saying you can smoke in the masjid. I said I was talking about, so I'm not talking about smoking. I'm talking about like, you got to take it, like, don't take fatwas, absolute fatwas from this program.
Have you had anyone turn up to Doncaster Mosque with an
No. So what it was just talking about technically, technically, like when you talk about fiqh parameters, right? It gives you the limits. It's not telling you the ideal thing to do. It's telling you whether your itikaf, that's what context we're talking about. Is your itikaf still acceptable if you do smoke out the window, let's say, or vape out the window? Yes, technically it is. Is that the right thing to do? Probably not. And it's probably not respectful.
Probably, definitely not.
Yeah,
Even I'll agree on that one.
I mean, like, I'm not giving a fatwa. See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's why I say,
all right.
when I use these vague words or make what I say vague, it's because I don't want to give a determinate, an absolute answer. That's job for the muftis, and you have to go and...
I need to interrupt you there. Me
Yeah.
and Lata are not alims. So our disclaimer is don't take anything we say for
Yes.
yeah, fiqh, aqidah, anything about that.
fiqh. Oh, any knowledge.
No.
Don't worry about listening to
Anything
us.
important about Islam, don't take it from them. But anyway, for me as well. Sorry, but no. But
Is there a bus coming? Because I think we got thrown under it.
yeah, no. So people ask about the crypto thing. What I've said before, and I've told you, maybe I said in the podcast before, like Darul Zakaria and other madrasas in South Africa, I think they've basically said they put two conditions. And there are other things ulama have discussed around it. Is it a currency? Yes, it is. But what determines a currency? If the Reserve Bank of the country considers it a currency, because that's how your current money is decided. It's the Reserve Bank, which is the financial or the economic representative of the government, the state.
Yep.
Right. It's determined that Australian dollars is the currency that will be prevalent in this country. This is how you trade. Right. Taxes are done in it. Whatever. All our shopping and everything's done in Australian dollars. That's the currency of this land.
Yeah.
It's determined by the Reserve Bank, and it's become a currency in the minds of people that can buy and sell in it.
Yeah.
Right. Is crypto become that? Yes, it has. In Australia, it has to a certain limited degree.
There's people buying houses with Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it wasn't there like 5 years ago. This was not the case.
Yeah.
So this is very new, and it's evolving. And the Australian government or any reserve bank can come. In some countries, the reserve banks have banned crypto.
In China.
So exactly. So then it's not. But in Australia, can you buy things on it? Can you trade in it? Yeah, even PayPal's recognizing it and so forth.
Yeah.
So it is becoming a. You could say it's a cryptocurrency. It's becoming a currency, a tradable.
Wow.
It's recognized as a unique currency. Because of that, that's it should be okay. So I'm sort of answering some of the questions because even though I'm giving disclaimer at the start, but on crypto, that's my understanding. Allahu
But people
Alam.
do need to go to their ulama to confirm what currency, because there are some cryptos.
So those are the two things: the Reserve Bank or the National Bank of that country, the Reserve Bank, not National Bank, because we actually have a National Bank, which is a private bank, but the Reserve Bank of the country, the government bank. And second thing is that it is actually becomes a means of exchange. It becomes a currency that people buy goods and services in, which is becoming the case.
Not one coin.
Yeah, but
Not coins. That's
but a point on that, there are
that was a low blow.
But there
That
are
was
some
a-
cryptos. The
Yeah.
point on that, there are some cryptos that are purely used for gambling,
Yeah.
yeah.
like casino cryptos or whatever it is. So there's the ones. I mean, we got to
Yeah.
stay away from. I'm assuming
You can't do anything else with it.
No, there's
it's for gambling.
Okay. Yeah, well, obviously. then.
this field is very new, so chances are you'll probably have Allahu Alam, maybe some that are halal and some that are not, depending
Yeah.
on what their uses are.
Yeah. So
that's
then, just going off that topic of crypto, then NFT, which is the non-fungible token, where you can actually fungible, which is basically like you have one Bitcoin, you can swap it with another Bitcoin. Like its value is the same, right?
Yeah.
One Bitcoin is equal to another Bitcoin, or $1 is equal to another. So these are exchangeable, they're not. But fungible is, non-fungible is a thing that cannot be replaced, like a piece of art. Usually it's used for art, right?
Or photos of certain podcast members. Maybe we should.
Yeah,
look
yeah.
into
Our
that.
podcast, maybe we'll make it into a non-NFT
NFTs.
and on the Ethereum.
Someone might pay 1 cent for a photo of yourself.
Yeah, 1 cent. Get 1 cent of a Bitcoin.
Mashallah.
But anyway, is it something that is permissible? It's a weird area because you're dealing firstly with digital things. It doesn't have a reality, like physical reality, similar to crypto.
Yeah.
You're giving value to something that is unique, but then it's also like a tradable thing, and you're keeping it on the ledger of a
blockchain.
of a blockchain. So it's sort of like people are saying this is like a scam, right? It's not a scam, but it's not really something that is actually worth anything.
Do you know the easiest way to describe it? And this is the way I kind of look at it. It's like, do you remember when you were kids, you used to get those trading cards, like basketball trading cards or baseball trading cards? When you look at the picture, I mean, that card is your card because you bought it. It's yours.
Yeah.
And it's unique. But the picture belongs to the person who took the picture, the photographer, for example, and he has the rights to sell it and distribute it and so forth.
And he's making money off those cards because he took the picture.
He's not making money off the cards, he's making money off the picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't own the cards. You own the cards.
Because the picture's on
So
the
it's
card.
royalties. He's getting royalties off the.
Yeah, so the royalties belong to the person who originally made the artwork or that took the picture. But the token or the...
Isn't that like copyright? So isn't this just another way of doing copyright?
Well, it's not copyright because copyright gives you the rights to, that particular thing that you've copyrighted. You have the right to sell it and make money from it, but you can't with NFTs.
You can't. Hang on a sec.
The only thing that an NFT is, it is literally a digital contract that says
This is the original.
This token. This little symbol here is the only symbol of its kind, and it's associated to this picture, this contract, or whatever it is that you're attaching the NFT to. It doesn't have to be a picture. It can even be a contract, for example, or it can be, in the future maybe they'll actually print out shares with NFTs.
Or they're doing music and whatever. Let's just stick to the art thing, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody if you make an NFT of the Mona Lisa as an example, what does that mean?
So that means you have the only NFT of the Mona Lisa, but the Mona Lisa is still the Mona Lisa.
No, hang on a sec. But if you can't have the only NFT of the Mona Lisa because the only person that can make an NFT of the Mona Lisa is the Louvre now in France, right?
Yeah,
is the person that owns the NFT.
Yeah, but they could sell the NFT.
They can sell the NFT.
They keep the
and
painting.
Keep the painting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
this is
that's what I'm saying.
It's squirrely.
Now it's messed up.
Yeah, but because it's like again, go back to the photographer who took that picture of that baseball player hitting.
He keeps the original picture or the negative of that.
Yeah, he can sell it to whatever magazine he wants to and keep on.
Could you
selling
make 10 NFTs with the Mona Lisa?
But you own the
card though, and that card is your card.
Yeah, but could you make 10 NFTs of the Mona Lisa?
No, you can't because you can only make one NFT.
NFT can only be one because that's what makes it non-fungible. You can't duplicate it. So you own the sort of like the digital footprint of the original art or whatever.
Exactly.
And nobody else can own that.
Yeah.
What can you do with it then?
You can keep it.
Is it like
You can keep it.
Just
all right.
It's like for example, what's his name?
But is
Jack Dorsey?
Yeah.
He sold his first tweet.
Yeah.
1 point something million.
Now, can he reuse that tweet for any other advertising or marketing purposes?
Yeah, he can. It's his tweet, but he can't reuse the NFT. The NFT belongs to whoever bought that NFT.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Why? Why do you think it's messed up?
Well, because the thing is, isn't the whole point of the NFT originality? Now, if he's using that tweet for other advertising purposes or marketing purposes,
but you're missing what's original. What's original isn't the tweet. It's the NFT.
It's you're basically.
Do you care about that?
Yes, that's
why.
Why. Because it's exclusive. It's the only one. Human beings are funny like that. They
are special, Lata.
Human beings are weird like that. We like exclusiveness. We like to be the only one that has this particular thing.
It's like when Holden or Ford used to get the Falcons or the Commodores, and they were the exclusive edition.
Yeah.
Or what was it? The Peter Brock ones. They were good ones. Anyway.
Yeah, you've got these NFT memes.
That one was $600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little
what about that
cat
artist
or something? With the rainbow.
There's an artist that sold his what was his name?
Yeah,
69 million.
69 million.
Yeah, you know who bought it? The guy from India that spent $5,000 8 years ago on Bitcoin.
And he's like a billionaire.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire now, yeah.
And his whole purpose of buying it is he's going to buy a lot of these digital NFTs.
Yeah.
And then I think it's in Second Life or wherever, he's bought virtual land, and he's setting up a virtual museum.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So you can go there and look at the original NFT, which will complete you.
Is this on Decentraland?
That's so sad.
Probably.
Decentraland, yeah.
I can see him losing his billion. I can see him losing it. Yeah. And somebody, that guy was explaining, I sent a video to you of a guy, I'll put it in the description, is a YouTuber explaining really well in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I saw it. It was really
he explained
well,
crypto,
well
and he actually explains crypto nicely, and then explains NFTs, and he says it's a lot to do with when humans have too much.
Yeah.
And so you want to own like a what do you call it?
It's like 30 cars in the garage isn't enough.
No. This is even more so. You want to own the intangible, even.
Yeah.
It's ajib. Like
that's actually a very good way to put it. Have you guys, speaking of NFTs and this whole, I don't know, weird sort of realm that the world's kind of heading towards to?
Chaos.
Yeah, there's this really interesting thing that Microsoft's been working on called holo glasses.
No, I've never heard of them.
They're basically just these glasses that you put on, and they augment reality. So you can see like like your NFT. Like if you have like an NFT, you can put on your glasses, and there's a picture of your NFT, but you can only see it when you have those glasses on.
That's just madness.
Yeah,
have a look at my NFT on the wall, but in order to see it, put these glasses on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So here's an explanation. This is from The Verge. Where was it? But NFTs are designed to give you something that can't be copied. Ownership of the work, though the artist can still retain the copyright and reproduction rights, just like with physical artwork. To put it in terms of physical art collecting, anyone can buy a Monet print, but only one person can own the original. Right? So what do you think of anyway, there's giving examples, trying to make sense of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What's
So it's more of a flex thing.
It is. It's a pure flex thing at the moment.
That's all it is.
100%, yeah.
So here, I'll just read this. So first off, it said, I'm an artist. First off, I'm proud of you. Way to go. You might be interested in NFTs because it gives you a way to sell work, and there otherwise might not be as much there might not be much of a market for. If you come with a really good digital sticker idea, what are you going to do? Sell it on the iMessage app store? In no way. Also, NFT have a feature that you can enable that will pay you a percentage every time the NFT is sold or changes hands, making sure that if your work gets super popular and balloons in value, you'll see some of the benefit. I'm a buyer.
Okay.
Now, this is for this creator.
We're going to read the whole website.
That was for the creator.
This is for the creator. Now, this is the part we're going to say how do another person. Of one of the obvious benefits of buying art is it lets you financially support artists you like. And that's true with NFTs, which are way trendier than like Telegram stickers. Buying an NFT also usually gets you some basic usage rights, like being able to post the image online or set it as your profile picture. Plus, of course, there are bragging rights that you own the art with a blockchain entry to back it up.
Okay.
So
That was boring.
That's what we're saying.
All right. Basically, what we're saying is start making NFTs and put them out there.
Yeah, let's make a podcast into an NFT.
Yeah.
And then turn on the feature where every time somebody sells it, you make money. So you never know, Maulana. Your picture could trade hands with 20,000 times and we become billionaires from it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's still very baffling that we're here. Logan Paul, are you?
Trading card.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
You were so distracted.
I'm trying to figure it out while live.
this-
I'm trying to figure it out while we're recording.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I suppose the point is with these, whatever you do, you just got to be careful. Double check what you're getting into and make sure it's money you can afford to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I actually we went into the fiqh of it a little bit, but just with these
But
issues.
this is not a fiqh
This is
podcast.
not a fiqh thing podcast. So people that are saying about the Saudi origin of the Saudi family or about adult fiqh classes, where to learn and so forth. Well, you have to visit your local ulama and ask them in Australia, if you're in Australia. If you asking about how to give dawah and so forth, yeah, maybe we'll talk about it, but it's not a topic that we haven't listed today. So it's maybe something that will come later on, inshallah. So, but we're laughing at. So politely, this is a disclaimer just that we will try to maybe deal with issues that brothers and sisters bring up, but not necessarily we might answer in detail questions, fiqh questions.
Don't get your deen from us is basically what.
From these guys.
I set him up for that, and he jumped on it.
Yeah.
Bang! you won the slam dunk competition for tonight. Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Anyway, on to more serious topics.
Yeah.
Masjid Al-Aqsa, what's going on? That has been stressing me out for the last 3 days.
It's weird
it's
because we
chaos,
see
man.
people in Taraweeh getting they're putting what do you call them, shock grenades and
Flashbangs.
Gas.
flashbangers, gas and things like and it's like, and while they're doing Taraweeh,
So much
and
zulm.
because we're in Taraweeh as well, still in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and like there's sort of like it's a weird affinity that's created between us and the whole ummah at large.
That's right.
And what's
'Cause
happening
we know
is-
what it is like at that point in time
and
when
to
you're
see
in
them
Tarawih, when
standing
your
in
brain
salat,
is-
see them standing in salat, and they have. Did you see the video of
Yeah.
the when
It was- it's
when
so
they're in
depressing.
the courtyard of the Masjid
Yes.
Aqsa and they're shooting and the people not moving?
Yeah, subhanallah.
You know,
May Allah protect them, man.
yeah, I think that he's probably just used to it. Unfortunately, by now, I don't think they get intimidated very easily. They don't have the reins, but they of control. But they, you know, anyway, it's tough. We had our Khatam al-Quran in our masjid, but it was very hard to celebrate like that
Yeah.
complete reading of Quran and Taraweeh while you know that that's what's going on over there. And I don't know like how long, a whole life we've been listening to it. I mean, it's been a century now, right? So
And every year, every time or every year or every decade, whatever period of time it is just a little bit of encroachment. Everyone gets up in arms and then everyone forgets about it and gets on with life, becomes normal.
yeah. And it's
This
not
is-
just
this is
that.
what
It's
the
not just
frustrating thing is.
Palestine, Afghanistan, or Kashmir, or
China,
yeah, it's like
Myanmar, it's the whole world.
yeah,
Like we're being, like, you know, the
not
hadith
we,
Prophet
they are.
Sallallahu Alaihi
Yeah,
Wasallam, the hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they'll invite each other to come
yeah.
and
Well,
attack.
that already happened in the colonial times. Yeah, but now it's just I don't know.
Malana, your hand on your mouth.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, sorry. I was in deep thought, and you know,
Did you like that slam dunk?
thanks for yeah. So yeah, I was doing my Iqbal pose, the poet. But anyway, yeah. What do you say? Like, what can you do? That's the thing. So I was
What
listening.
has been the reaction from the world?
I think maybe this is obviously there's a lot of anger from the Muslims, a lot of calls for action. Even the Palestinians themselves, like the way they went in large numbers to Masjid Aqsa and, you know, walked from West Bank, which is not, you know, they actually left, there was road blockades, so just left their cars on the freeway.
Just walked.
And then the Palestinians from the Israeli Arabs, they went and picked them up as they were walking
Subhanallah.
towards and took them to Masjid Aqsa. So the West Bank is separate from East Jerusalem, which is occupied by Israel.
Yeah.
So they, they like, I mean, this is all they can do. They can't do more than that.
And for the world, it's even known as the occupied territories.
Yeah,
But nobody does anything.
But yeah, because the superpower supposedly, and you know, US, it's and the West, you know, they turn a blind eye from it. And what do we do? Like, I was listening to a lot of UK programs today, and you know, alhamdulillah, there's a bit more, I think, more organized than, and maybe even more than the US, where they would say, look, all right, we can't. First thing is to put Masjid Aqsa as a target in the minds of Muslims, that this is our place. This is not theirs.
Yeah.
And this is not about a ethnicity or anti-Semitism or this and that. This is Allah's house. This is not a Palestinian cause.
Yeah.
This is a Dini cause. That's the first thing. Palestinians got to get that right, and rest of the Muslims got to get this
What do you
right.
mean
This
the
is
you said Palestinians.
it's not a Palestinian nationalist cause.
But
this
you
is
think Palestinians see it as a Palestinian nationalist
some see it as a Dini cause. Some see it. I've talked to so many Palestinians. I've been to Palestine, and I've seen both like views. There is a sort of like almost like a secular Palestinian understanding, and there's also a Dini Palestinian understanding. So there's Palestinians are not all the same, right?
So that shift needs to happen.
In them and also in the rest of the ummah, that this is a unacceptable situation, that the house of Allah, the third holiest place for Islam, it's not the Yahuds, it's for Islams. It's Masjid Al-Aqsa is Islam's.
Yeah.
And they can claim history before. When they were Muslims, it was theirs. And when they rejected Isa alayhi salam, they rejected Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's not theirs
Sallallahu
anymore.
alaihi wasallam.
So-
Muslims have to understand that, like, they really need to get that in their head. This is not about living side by side. And this is not about
Peace and
this is about truth and falsehood. Like, they are given access. The Yahud were given access by Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh. The Christians refused, and they gave him 1 day a year. And Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh, when he conquered, and he showed that no, as you have a right, the Romans, the Christians had, also they have, as they're also people of the book, they have equal right to you. So ironically, the Muslims gave access to the Yahud to all their holy sites, what they believe to be their holy sites. Similar to the Christians, they have their holy sites. So for Muslims have to understand this is not a just a nationalist cause, and we should not be invested in nationalist things. This is a religious dini cause. It is a jihad to get that place back. Now, how we do that, what we can do, like, am I a ruler of a Muslim country that I can send an army like Salahuddin Ayyubi? Obviously not. But what can I do to actually further that cause? Raise our voice where we can.
Right to our politicians.
Right to our politicians. These are the things that we can do. Just be annoying about it until they capitulate, And then those who are in the region and they're there, they should, take something. They should be more forceful. The Arabs did try twice, and they lost it actually. Originally, East Jerusalem was not part of Israel.
Yeah, 67 war, right?
Yeah, and they lost it to the Yahud. So we lost it to Israel.
Yeah.
So the thing is that loss or that thing is, it's a calamity that is, the original calamity is the British mandate. That's a reflection of the whole Muslim world. It was carved up, and as you said before in the hadith, that they will invite each other to a feast, and they'll just, that's what they did. That's what the Italians did, and the French, and the English, and so forth and so forth. That's what they did to the Muslim world, throughout the world. So the biggest loss is that, the biggest loss was the biggest prize or the biggest thing that the Muslims lost, other than the Khilafah itself. In the process of all of that, we lost one of the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the three most holy places we lost, So that is a big loss. We haven't recovered. It's been more than 100 years and we still haven't recovered it, right? Then you've got, that's one thing. Khilafah is another thing. The division of the Muslim states. Arabs are divided in more than 20 countries. That doesn't even make sense. 20 different states, one language, one qawm. Really, they're divided. They have their local.
Could you imagine if they became one country?
Well, they were going to.
Be a superpower.
They were going to, and that's
what Gaddafi was going to do, right? With
no. Even before that, they promised. That's part of the promise to the Arabs that the Arabs who were fighting against the Ottomans, they were promised that. Sharif Hussein of Makkah, he was promised that if he helps the British, they'll make him the king of the Arabs. So he, what's the saying? He did a deal with the devil, and the devil reneged and betrayed, and that's our story. We did it to ourselves. We betrayed each other, and for worldly gains, and so
now that shift needs to happen. That shift of, okay, we're looking at this as a Palestinian cause or a people's cause. No, this is an Islamic cause, and that division can only go within all these Arab states or within Muslim countries if we go, okay, we are Muslim, we are one ummah.
Yeah, that's not even enough. If as an ummah, our interest has to be the interest of Islam, not ourselves, not our tribe, nation, and not our family. That's the problem with us.
That's a big call.
So that we criticize Westerners for being individualistic, or even we're individualistic because we're raised here. Everyone's worried about themselves. We don't have a tribe or a community to worry about. We worry. Each one worries the way we were raised up, the way our family units are, so forth. Everyone's got their own, and they like our own nationality. Our masjids are ethnic, based. Most of our masjids are controlled by one ethnicity.
Yeah,
it's not a haram halal thing, but it tells you of a mindset that we cannot work with other Muslims.
Yeah, subhanallah.
We cannot work with other people, to work as a group to alleviate our problems. Try. How many people? I've only seen one community in Australia that are able to do that, to go and get together as a community, 100 families. Where they get together and they buy houses for each other. Right, I don't want to mention the community because I don't want to put it out there.
Yeah.
But they, as 100 people, there's 100 families get together, buy each other houses. They buy a house and take care of each other. But to do that is not a easy thing. That requires a level of working together and seeing beyond your direct. But it's still, again, it's within one community, and those differences become more clear. Maybe with a previous generation, everyone's got their own masjids. But then with the next generation, the fact here we're from 3 different nationalities sitting here, we don't see color. No, we don't see nationality. No, we don't. We don't. We don't notice. We don't notice. We're just talking.
We don't care.
Yeah, so that's probably a good sign. So maybe the next generation, maybe the way they build the masjid is different, centers and so forth.
Inshallah.
It's not is Arabs or Turks or
Australian Muslims or Muslim Australians.
Yeah, but properly following the not Australian Muslims that.
Yeah, that's why I said change it to Muslim Australians.
Yeah, so 4 and 20 at iftar. Not that
what's
Australian.
What's wrong with the 4? Oh, mate, what's wrong with
no, it's good. It's got its
right
moment. It's good. It's got its moments. But I'm saying 4 and 20 at iftar.
Yeah,
it's all right. Sorry.
Depends where you get them from.
Halal 4 and 20s.
Yeah, there are. Anyway, off the topic. Yeah. So we're talking about Masjidul Aqsa and we end up at 4 and 20s. The idea that we cannot cut off from the Haramain.
Yeah.
every day we pray salat tells us that.
Mm.
The Qibla is, we are facing the house of Allah in Mecca. And also, we cannot forget the first Qibla of Islam, which is Masjid Aqsa, which is the third place our Prophet ﷺ. That is always, that has to be on the radar of the Ummah. We cannot, just because this incident now will die down, and then we'll forget about it, move on. This is our general, this is what happens every year, 2 years.
That's why there's been so much zulm being done there, because we always forget.
Yeah, and the Ummah is like 1.5 billion, but
complacent.
it's totally incapacitated, amazingly totally incapacitated.
Foam on the sea.
Yeah, can't do nothing. Yeah. Because of what? Rasulullah said, wahan.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Hubbud dunya wa karad. Love for dunya, love for my dunya. This is what I was trying to say before. For our own little dunya, our own little piece of dunya, the Australian dream, whatever it is, like we got our own little dunya to get, and that's why we're here. Make sure my kids get a good education, good job, they're successful. No big vision, no big picture, no target, no vision that Masjid Aqsa is a problem that is my parents, grandparents, they couldn't do nothing about it. Now I've inherited the problem as a ummati of Rasulullah, a follower of Rasulullah sallallahu. My kids are going to inherit this problem. It's not even thought of as a problem. It's not even thought of that. So that's the fact that we've grown up 3 generations without khilafah is not seen as a problem.
The thing with that though is we didn't know about it, and we don't. It's not on our radar. We never taught about it.
Yeah, that's it's compounded generationally now. And the norm is that, okay, we can do without khilafah. We can do without. We
don't even know what a khilafah is or how it runs or how it operates.
Yeah, so it's gone so far from our. It's gone so it's sad. It's sad, but that's why the reward for reviving a sunnah is 100 shaheed, 1 shaheed or 100 shaheed, as the riwayah is mentioned. So that requires great.
That requires Omar Mukhtar.
That requires an Omar Mukhtar. Requires a Imam Shamil. It requires a person even greater maybe than that, and like a
Alauddin Ayyubi.
Yeah. And Nuruddin Zangi and what was the one? Imam Abdul Qadir, Amir Abdul Qadir, rahimahullah. So we had some amazing people, and one of the people that we wanted to discuss today was Omar Mukhtar.
Sheikh Omar Mukhtar, really?
Sheikh, yeah, Imam Omar Mukhtar, a alim, hafiz.
Orphaned at the age of 12.
Yeah, his father died in Hajj on the way to Hajj, and he left the wasiyah, and he was raised. His father was from the Sunusi Tariqah, Sufis again. Somebody said about Sufis in a disparaging way. I mean, it depends on what Sufis. If the Sufi is muttaqi and he stays within the Sharia.
What's muttaqi?
If God-fearing.
Okay.
All right. So if he's got taqwa, like all these guys, Imam Shafi'i was a Naqshbandi,
Imam Ghazali,
Sultan. I'm talking about the rulers and mujahids and so forth, because that's not seen as a. There were certain Sufis who sold out to the colonialists. Those exist. I mean, ulama sold. There are ulama that sold out to the Dutch in Indonesia. There's examples of in every part of the world you'll see those sellouts, and you'll have Sufis who sell out as well. But that doesn't mean that all ulama are bad or all Sufis are bad. No. Big 19th century, look at it. It's all the mujahideen, because who has got that loyalty, absolute loyalty to the things? The sheikhs of tariqah. They have like these people with them, murids. Right, even the Imam Shamil we did last week, the soldiers or the people mujahideen in his army were called the murids. In tasawwuf, usually the murids are the ones that are seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're the followers of the sheikh, right? They're following his spiritual advices. So these are not antithetical. This like tasawwuf spiritualities didn't go with jihad and fighting and combat. So Omar Mukhtar, he was in Sudan, he was teaching. And then
the thing about it, the amazing thing is his childhood, where he excelled in Quran. He spent 12 years studying fiqh or deen, Islamic studies. So, and then after that,
and he was pious. He used to make one khatam of Quran every week until his death.
Even during the battles,
until his death, his weekly routine was one khatam Quran at least a week.
And subhanallah. And so from there, he got sent to Sudan to teach Quran because he was so good.
Yeah. He was teaching deen and Quran to the people there. Then what happened was, I think in Chad, with the French made incursion, he joined the Mujahideen there. Then eventually ended up in Libya, where the Italians made their way into Libya, and and he fought them for so long, and
he got caught because people sold out.
Yeah, it's our own. It was
it's so our own that stabbed us in the back.
So anyway, an amazing figure, worthwhile study, and then he hardly slept. He slept like 2-3 hours apparently a day, and
it's like one of his characters. They hardly sleep.
Yeah.
Well, his friend said, most of my like he's one of his companions. He said, I don't think he slept at night at all. Like he was like hardly
Tahajjud,
slept.
salat.
Yeah, he was like in ibadah and so forth, and the whole night.
And all of these characters, if you look back in history and you actually look at their life, not just their achievements or not just their achievements on the battlefield, when you look at their life, their nighttime was spent in ibadah. Like that was talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, mate, we need a hand.
Yeah.
Right? Or making dua or whatever it
What'd you
is.
say?
It doesn't matter. Right? I was trying to go over there because I was like, okay, yeah. Right? But the point is, a lot of reading Quran, like Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi rahmatullah alayhi, had an alim with him at all times. So the same thing with these guys. I suppose this is one of the link of success from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because the amal is what, and that's because it's about akhirah, it's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not about worldly gains, right? So that fear, he said, what was his slogan? Victory or death, you know? Like this is shahada, or either we become shaheed or we become victorious. There's no in between. And subhanallah, till the last, he was never surrendered, and, you know, he was taken like fighting, you know, he was still fighting.
He was caught.
He was fighting. He got shot and he's still fighting. And then the horse fell on his other arm and something like that. And he was like pinned down or something, but he was going. But he said this is, and then eventually, rahimahullah, he was executed and invited the whole of, I learned a lot about the Italians and the colonials. Like, they killed 5,000 in Tripoli when they arrived in Libya, just to set an example. And look what they blamed it on, how they really, like, they made deals between each other, French, like exactly hadith said, like invited to a feast. They killed 5,000 women, children, so forth, to example, and they said, we are freeing you from the occupation of the Ottomans. Right? This is how they come in and they set...
We're here to give you freedom.
Anyway, Imam Omar Mukhtar, the line of it's called the Asdul Sahara. There is a movie...
yes, there is a movie.
Yeah,
how accurate it is, I don't know.
Anthony Quinn plays him.
Look, I'm gonna say I watched it, and
did you watch it?
It's a pretty good movie.
So I mean, they are the heroes of Islam despite all odds. So getting back to the issue of what will it take, or who will it take, to galvanize the ummah to the point of where they will stand up and not be pushed around. Not be pushed around by any power, quote unquote, superpower and so forth. So there was a azan from a member in Palestine, and he goes, "Where are you? Where are our Salahuddins?"
Is that right?
Yeah, from the member they were calling out, "Where are you?" You know, so it's a call.
Where is Umar?
It's a chilling. Yeah, where's the Umar Mukhtaras of this ummah? Where are the where are these people that the ummah? Like they.
And how far are we from that?
And maybe we don't deserve those people. And I don't know. I can't say about I don't deserve to have a leader like that. But maybe we have to make dua. See, the thing is, like what you said before, to local politicians. As much as possible, make news about it or be annoying about it and do something about it. And make absolute least, and it's not the least, it's the most, is to make dua. It's actually the most powerful thing. It's the weapon of a mu'min. Salah al-mu'min. So I remember years ago somebody was saying, because they're so scared. I think we're coming out of that phase of being scared of, because of ISIS or September 11, all that. I think we're getting over that. They said, don't say the weapon, say the tool of a mu'min. Because they're so scared. Yeah. Well, I remember this was advice given. Don't say weapon of a mu'min. Because that's that's how self-censoring we've become, that we can't even translate hadith properly and ayat properly, and like we gotta, like we can't even say what Rasulullah ﷺ said. No, if we are Muslims, we're in haqq. Allah give us afiyah, we'll be tested. But this world and akhirah is for the mu'mineen, and it's that means we're not true mu'mins. And I cannot speak for what's their brothers and sisters what they're going through over there. I can't judge them harshly. And I can't criticize them, because the situation is very hard and difficult. And I sit here in a Western country and
eating comfortably every night.
Yeah.
The sufra's full at suhoor.
Got nothing to complain about. No difficult, no hardship we see here, and we're enjoying the good life. And then we can judge them on their deen or something like that. No, we don't know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something people say. I thought about it as well. Part of it is true, but then the other part is we also have to be careful as well. people say that, what about Afghanistan? Because that doesn't get in the Muslim psyche the level of attention. If like 60 people got killed in Afghanistan or whatever, people say, how come that doesn't get, like only a few people died here, 150 injured, whatever, a few people died. It's because this is Sham. And Sham as a land and its people, Rasulullah ﷺ warned us that if the people of Sham suffer or they wrong, there's no khair for you. Like you will not be. So there's specific warns given for that region: Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine. This region, Sham, with specific warning is given to be mindful, make sure to do whatever you can for that place. So at least we can raise our hands and make dua. And then think of how and ask Allah to take appropriate action that will benefit those people. Many brothers are there. They have charities that help people, Muslims over there. There are many others who are working to get even the awareness in the Muslim hearts and minds that this is a place that is our place. It's not their place, no matter what they claim, even if they came before us. Because those who came before them, like in the time of Dawood alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam, or Ishaq alayhi salam, or even before that, they were prophets of Islam, right? They were Bani Israel, but they were Muslims. Those who came with Musa alayhi salam, they were Muslims. So we have more right to Ibrahim alayhi salam and all the prophets of Bani Israel than they have.
Yeah.
So don't let them fool you with that, and they deserve they should. Their existence as a state, not as a people, is an abomination. The state is an abomination. That's why when the Palestinians say that some Palestinians say that it shouldn't exist, they're talking about the state. They're not talking about the people, right?
Yeah.
They're not talking about ethnic cleansing. What they're doing to the Muslims, like putting them in the refugee camp. I mean, really, Gaza is a camp, all right? It's a open air. So they've cut them out of the national. They gave them like quote unquote a country, but basically they'll make life so miserable, and this is going to turn on them because this is going to give it time, And Subhanallah, Allah has humiliated them as a people. Like in the Quran, asked my dad, rahimullah, what is the hukam of why? How is it possible someone has?
That's the phone downstairs.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a loud phone. I don't know who's calling it this time of night.
Okay, so it's my father, rahimahullah, he said that I said, how can they be like they've got control of that country when and the Muslims around them, they can't do nothing about it. And he said that like they're supposed to be humiliated. Allah says in the Quran, I've humiliated them. And he said, yeah, part of humiliation, you will not be any benefit to anybody else except yourself.
Subhanallah.
And there will not be benefit to anybody else. And there will always be hatred in other people's heart for them. And they can't shake that. And people might misconstrue that as anti-Semitism and so forth. As Muslims, we don't have an issue like with ethnicity, because there are Jewish Muslims. Like ethnicity, they're Jews, they became Muslims. So we accept them as full Muslims. The Sahaba and the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, one of the mothers of the believers, she's a Yahudiya. Ethnically, she's a descendant of Harun alayhi salam. But she's a we call her Umm al-Mu'mineen and radiyallahu anha. So we have no issue with ethnicity or bloodlines and so forth. Rather, but the zulm of a state that exists on controlling one of the houses of Allah, that is the third place, most holiest place for Islam, we will never give that up to anybody. As a Muslim, mentally, we'll never give that up. That'll always be there. That'll be an oddity. That is something that has to be fixed, and it will be fixed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Muslim's consciousness has to be raised to a level where they can
understand why that consciousness needs to be raised.
Yeah.
It's for the sake of deen.
Yeah. So the Muslims. So if you look at what they were saying about one sheikh sent a message and said that Salahuddin Ayyubi, before he embarked on his operation, all his works and so forth, how he started was before that ulama were talking about the reading the fadail of jihad, of combat and fighting and so forth. So the sheikh said, he said that ni'mul ulama wa ni'mal umara, the best ulama and the best leaders that in that time, So today everyone's worried about their seat, saving his life.
NFTs.
NFTs. No, I'm talking about rulers, that's they worry about their kursi, their chair, their position, whether they're interested even that, but they are a reflection of who we are.
Yeah.
And who we are, the way we are and our ambitions, coming back to what I was saying, Everyone's worried about themselves, their own pockets, their own kids, their own thing. They don't have any big vision or picture of reclaiming what was lost in terms of deen. So, but anyway.
Jazakallah khair. That was a heavy topic.
Yeah.
But look, the one thing is what you said about the country. We love all people. We want hidayah for all people. But there are certain things that are just not right.
Yeah.
Federal Court challenge. This is where Lata, you lost, buddy.
Oh, I didn't lose.
Your people did.
My people. I'm not Indian.
No, well, you know they.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a self-hating Indian. He doesn't want his people back.
The challenge.
There's too many of them. There's too many of them here.
It's not that, but the challenge of the challenge that was put to the federal court to say, you know, this is illegal and Australia can't stop, or the government can't stop Australian citizens from coming back.
Okay, this is what I'm saying is, what's the point of a citizenship? Why even have a citizenship?
Because you have protection from that country. That country's meant to help you. Let me finish.
Exactly, they're meant to help you.
I know I'm like going right into that, but at the same time, the government of that country has a responsibility towards the majority.
Yeah.
This is why I can't say I'm an Australian citizen. Yep, I've committed a crime.
But you do come back.
But you get locked up. You get separated because you're a danger to society.
But you still get locked up in Australia.
Yeah, because the thing is,
because
you
other
here.
countries, you know, their jails might be inhumane.
But that's because you are in this country. That extradition, what you're talking about, is different.
How?
Right? Well, we're not talking about extradited. What we're talking about is the majority of people that are coming back at the moment.
Yeah.
Our quarantine system can't handle it. That many people with COVID. Until we build a system that can.
Do you know? Okay,
Right.
this is how I see it. I just see it as,
Is it because they were brown skinned and they're not white?
the way I see it is the Scott Morrison government doesn't want to stuff up, right? Because if they take on this this mantle of bringing back, you know, all the Indian Australians
And COVID spreads? Absolutely.
he's gonna cop it.
Absolutely.
I actually don't think it's anything got to do with protecting the people or doing anything like. Because at the end of the day, I still don't understand what is the point of having a citizenship if something happens, like, you know, a pandemic or you're in trouble or whatever, and you need to come back home, and your own country
I see your point.
doesn't allow you to come back, even though you're supposed
And
to
other
have.
countries did send planes and stuff like that
Yeah,
to bring them
look
back.
at-
That
look
even
at-
happened in Japan.
Look at Canada.
What about Canada?
They took all the Indians.
They took them back?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. The
They got-
UK.
They've
all
got,
these-
the
all these
difference
other
is
West-
Canada's got Indians in Parliament.
I mean, I don't know if that's a difference, but yeah, I mean,
100%,
that would
man.
probably help. You know,
Come
if there was someone in Parliament representing. Actually, nah, it won't make a difference in Australia. I don't think it will.
I look, me personally, I think yes, bring them back when our quarantine system is ready to handle it, and that's what look. This opening up now from, what was it, May 8th, 18th, or something like that. That's a reaction to the political climate we're in. I don't know if they would have opened it up if it was before that, but it's become crazy now. India is getting worse day by day. Now, if you have a whole plane load of people come back, 50% of them have COVID.
Okay.
What does that mean for our quarantine system? Look what's happened to India because they haven't taken precautions.
But as an Australian, right, and as an Australian citizen, you should have the right to be able to come home.
You're saying you should.
Yeah, you should be able to come home.
Is that the right? Is that a right?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do our research and come back and see if it is. But I still don't understand. Like, cause what if you have like a you're
Look
sick?
at that.
you need to-
He's just looked up something on
so
the
first
wire.
thing
That's
is
quite.
Australian citizens have an obligation to obey the law if in Australia should the need arise, voting
Yep,
federal
which
and
is fair.
state territory. And then there is our core Australian values: constitutional government, respect for freedom, dignity, freedom of speech and religion, commitment to the rule of law, blah blah blah. And then it says Australian citizens have privileges, including but not limited to being able to apply for an Australian passport and re-enter Australia freely, receive help from an Australian official while overseas, access Medicare and Centrelink payments where applicable.
Okay, so let's look at this bit. Help, re-enter Australia freely,
Yeah.
but then and also access help from our embassy overseas.
Yeah.
Are
Consular
they,
help.
are they getting consular help?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so now re-entering
that's-
Australia freely, even if you come back into Australia and you're put in quarantine, you haven't entered Australia freely.
Correct.
Because what's happening
You're
is
taken away on a bus.
COVID has changed the whole structure of the society.
It's changed the rules.
It's completely changed the rules. I mean, you jump on public transport, you need to have a mask. If you don't, you look like a freak. Everyone gets worried about you. in the middle of COVID, we were locked in our homes.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of the people that were protesting was like, this is unconstitutional, this is against the law. No, we have a facility where the government can, enact emergency powers. And these emergency powers allow you to change the status quo or the norm of that time.
Correct.
Because it's an emergency.
And that's part of the constitution of the country. Emergency laws are right that's given to the parliament. They vote on it. They give you, they can extend it. That's what happened in Victoria. When did they extend it to?
December.
Yeah, so they
But,
extend
but they're not
emergency laws.
using them at the moment.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we don't need to.
Exactly. So there is a provision to do things that maybe not considered. It's not normal situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Here we go.
This
See-
is not a normal situation.
See, suspension, they've passed laws for this. Suspension of privilege for Australian citizens engaged in terrorism, as an example. To ensure there are consequences for all Australians engaged in terrorism, not just dual citizens, should we consider additional powers like suspending certain privileges of citizenship. There are legal obligations that may limit the government's ability to
But
suspend.
this is something different.
I know, but it tells you that on certain circumstances, the privileges can be suspended.
That's my point. And that's
they
where
would use
emergency
that
powers come
in
into
order
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
And we
And
we
here,
do need those
look
emergency powers.
at this. There are already circumstances where some privileges of a citizenship are suspended with broad community acceptance. For instance, Australians serving prison sentences more than 3 years, having their voting rights suspended while they're in prison. See, these are broad community acceptance. That's what they are basing it on. That what do they know what the Australians want. Do Australia wants hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people with COVID coming in? I guarantee you that.
It's only 10,000.
Okay, say hundreds. Okay, 10,000 people. Now, 10,000
But what is the
people come in,
Australian saying?
50%
Yeah.
of that?
Yeah.
5,000
So
are
far,
infected.
66% of the people disagree with the 1/3, right? There's 3 Australians here, 66 disagree with you. So the majority don't. I'm not sure that's a reflection of what's outside.
I
I think
understand where you're coming from.
It's a slippery
Lata.
slope.
It is a slippery slope. I do
Yeah.
get where you're coming from, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they care about Australia, but they don't care about Australians. I don't know.
No,
I don't think
have
so.
to disagree with
I
that.
think they do care about Australia. That's why they're doing it. Live.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Australia-
They care about Australia.
but they care about
Australians
Australians.
in
Okay.
Australia. Yeah.
Imagine, right? You live next to someone that's come from overseas, and then
But
they've been through quarantine.
When we're talking about the like what would happen if China attacked Australia,
Mate,
the plan that they have where they abandoned Perth, abandon Darwin,
Broome.
and just Broome, and then just go, we're
you better hope
the
China
East.
doesn't attack when you're in Broome, mate.
Yeah.
Right?
What happens there?
Yeah, but
But that's a
that
decision
is
that's
the needs
made.
of the
Can you
many.
stop? Can you move the chair away from? Because too much. Screen.
Okay, that is the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few, because the many live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of the Australian population lives on the East Coast. We need to do that.
Even in fiqh, there's a khafal that are like the lesser of 2 evils. Like there's 2 evils, then you choose the lesser of the 2. It's actually a fiqh concept. It's a usul in fiqh, a qaida.
Although this is not a fiqh podcast.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just giving you a principle because they're following the same. They are following the same principle, right? It's a legal principle, which is that there's 2. You don't have any option. One option is that you leave them there and let the COVID thing. That's bad, right? It's bad.
Yeah,
they're living there.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, there. The other thing is that at the moment this place is safe. Because I was speaking to somebody today and they were talking overseas and they were saying to me that, like, oh, you guys in lockdown? I said, not really. We're sort of out about it.
We've got it good.
Yeah.
I said to him, like, actually,
It's
it's
almost
overseas somewhere.
normal.
But he said that, I said, no, it's pretty much normal. Like, it's just a little bit here and there. We separate salat a little bit and whatever. But it's not really that, bad. The way he talked, I was feeling like, okay, they're under like pressure.
Why? What are they doing?
No lockdowns. They're having lockdowns
Still.
now. Yeah. So the back to what we're saying. So either you maintain what we have here in a gradual way, bring them in slowly, control way. Because what was going to happen was there's going to be a flood of people coming in.
That's
That's
right.
what, because things are collapsing over there.
Yeah.
So
Everyone wants to get out.
and because they're coming too fast, so they sort of slowed it down. So now we said last week that they're gonna do this sudden scare legal thing they're gonna do. Then what's the first priority? Bring the kids, right? A plane full of kids or whatever.
Is that what they're doing? Oh,
Yeah, there's
fantastic.
like 200 kids or something they want to bring
Oh, that's
because the
awesome.
parents are here or something. I don't know why, but they want to bring the kids over. The kids are parents. The father's here already. One parent's here already. So they want to bring them first, giving them priority. So they already started the planning and a process of bringing them, but in a controlled way.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is what you want, which is what you'd expect.
I mean, if they're doing that, then that's good. I mean,
It's not just a lockdown, good luck, bad luck. They are getting consular assistance.
I hope they do, and I hope they don't end up in this slippery slope where they're just
But they can't.
let
They
them
can't
be.
do that. They can't do that.
That's not what they're
That's
doing.
a law that's applied across the whole of Australia. There's like that. The guy who bring the court case is a guy. Is a white guy from India, a white Australian who lives in India. He's an older man. I can't remember who was a cricketer or coach or whatever. Anyway, he brought the case in the court, and his court case.
No,
failed.
that's Michael Slater. That's another thing.
No.
altogether.
This is
You're not
an
talking
old,
about Slater?
No. It's an old like white guy. So anyway, he is not like a cricketer, current cricketer, recent cricketer. But anyway, he applied, and they, his court application to challenge the decision of the government failed. Right. So I think it is an emergency, and in emergency, forget about this. This is nothing. What a state can do to protect its the state, which protects it, which is made up of citizens, is a lot more. Like we lived in a very comfortable life, so we don't know what actually powers. Like in wartime, like for example, why Australia kept a car industry that wasn't doing too well for like 70 years after World War II, because it's those factories. Those were they basically, there's a word for it, but basically the government sends a command or order to think
To repurpose to make something else.
Yeah, we're going to build tanks. Your factories, like Ford factories in Melbourne, there's all right, you're no longer making cars anymore. We'll be making tanks for the war effort.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what they do. Like governments have much more power than we realize, depending on the circumstances. This is a very small thing.
And that's why.
And conscription conscription is a real.
That's
Up
right.
until Vietnam, like soldiers conscripted against their will. You have to go fight. If you're this age and in this year you're born,
Unless you have a foot's bone spur or something.
yeah,
like
whatever,
that.
you have to go. You don't have a choice. So all of those things we take for granted. Oh, no one can send me to fight. No one can send me to. No one can do this. It depends on the circumstances. This circumstances call for unusual, extraordinary things to be put into place. But this is very small compared to what they can do, like what the government can do.
And
we should not be. Why would we be surprised as a Muslim? Like, why is this right? The state has the right to do that.
And this is why, even that, our vote is so important. And you look at who's being voted into power and who's actually representing you. We don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
as a community or as just generally, we
I
just
think
the
after this, if you don't realize that, then I don't know.
your vote counts. You've got to be aware of, okay, who am I voting for? Because we have to vote in Australia, right? It's compulsory. So what benefit or harm is this person bringing? And look at it that way.
Yeah, I think for me the thing that gets to me is that I see a lot of countries that are like Australia, who are not in a like we're in a very 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 good place. In terms
But there's a reason we're in that good place.
in terms of this COVID situation. But other countries that are also
for example,
relatively okay, like Canada, I was talking about before. When they're okay.
Canada's in lockdown.
Yeah, they're in lockdown, but like that's what I'm saying. They're in a position that's not as good as ours.
That's right.
But they're still
because they're little Indians,
they're still they're still
I'm
looking.
just joking.
They're citizens. They're still taking them because what are they like? Imagine you're an Australian. You're used to the way things are done in Australia. Like you're used to an Australian hospital. You're like something happens to you, you get checked out. You can get looked at, and then you're stuck in India. You can't get oxygen. You can't. And so it's just like.
Is that a right or a privilege?
Yes, you're right. It's a privilege, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes, and it just seems.
Well, we can never understand that situation.
If we look at the cricketers, for example, that went over, the cricketers didn't go over to India because for humanitarian reasons.
They went there to play
It
cricket.
was for the hip pocket because they're going to get paid millions of dollars
Yeah, of
for
course.
2 or 3 months' work.
Yeah.
So now that this has happened, you're complaining that we're in lockdown, this and that. And look, one thing, I think it was the health minister or the immigration minister, he said, look, we've got guys that are complaining on Twitter or whatever, right, that talk about, what the Australian government's doing. However, they've got the means to go live in the Maldives for 14 days and then come back. And then re-entry, speaking of re-entry into Australia or re-entry into the world,
Oh,
Chinese rocket, right? What is that? I still can't get my head around that.
It's
Yeah.
made in China. That's why.
No, you send something up into space and you have no idea where the rocket's going to land. It could be
Yeah.
anywhere in this planet.
NASA pretty harshly criticized them, and China came back with, this is not the way to address people, whatever.
China does not care about the rest of the world.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, and it's like
Absolutely.
It really
it's-
doesn't.
it could fall somewhere between Africa and Australia,
Or
and
even its own people.
and Maldives. It fell near the Maldives, and but anyway, it's they don't like. I was once at a petrol station, and I went to the. Have I told you this one before?
we're talking about China.
Yeah, I know, but there's a guy,
No,
Chinese
no.
guy working there, and at the 7-Eleven, and I had used my card on the machine, and it wasn't working. I said,
We went there, by the way.
I said, is it made in China? And he's Chinese. And he said, you are racist.
That was
It was a
pretty
joke.
racist.
It was a
No.
joke. It's made in China. Come on, everybody knows that the cheap stuff comes from China, except iPhones and
in our
everything else pretty much now.
iPhones come from China, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, they're made in China, but they're designed
Designed
in
in
California.
California.
Yeah, but that's everything. That's everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but I just can't get my head around this. You send a rocket up into space. I'm not going to Mars on that rocket, on a Chinese
Yeah.
rocket. I'll land on Mars,
Hey.
and then that rocket's going to hit me.
By the way, everything's going. That rocket might be made in China.
Yeah.
Everything's made in China. So eventually,
No way. Elon, don't do this.
Yeah.
he got kicked out of
It
China.
was 7
anyways.
stories tall, this thing that fell.
Wow.
But it landed in the ocean, luckily.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, but how many fish did it kill? How many whales did it kill?
No, probably didn't. But anyway,
But
that's
my point
it's
is,
still- it's pretty
you've
scary.
sent something up into space.
And you don't know
And
when
you
it's
don't
going
know
to
have
land.
you
where it's
seen
gonna land.
have you seen the they actually got this tracking of
Debris.
debris.
Oh, it's
They
chaos.
reckon
There's thousands.
no, hundreds of thousands, and it said soon it will get to a level where we'll not be able to do space travel.
Oh, is this the?
So your dream for Mars might be cut short.
Yeah, and not only that, the International Space Station, at the speed it's traveling, it actually has to watch out for little bits of debris,
Yeah.
tiny bits of debris in space, and make sure they avoid it
yeah. Oh,
because it'll put a
Yeah.
hole into it.
wow.
That's the
We haven't just polluted the Earth. We haven't just polluted the sea.
that's all the debris around
Yeah,
the Earth.
We've polluted space
wow.
around our planet.
And some of it is going so fast, like a screw or a speck of paint, whatever. You can actually make holes in the.
That's correct. International
yeah.
Space Station. That's what
Yeah.
they're about. Like, what's wrong with human beings, man?
How-
I mean, they were
how-
trying to go up, and they
How are they going to clean that?
can't.
they've actually the Japanese they made a these little sort of satellites, and they just like sort of float around. They pick up all the pieces, and
Like
they come.
magnetic satellites or something?
Vacuum
No,
cleaners,
they just
space vacuum cleaners.
Well, you can't vacuum because you're in a vacuum, but it basically collects rubbish
Yeah.
and starting to clean up, and then it re-enters into
And
the
burns out.
atmosphere and burns out. Yeah, like there's nothing to, because it's so it just turns into dust sort of thing. Yeah, but that's what you're looking at, trying to get
Wow.
out. Yeah, avoid hitting.
On that note, make sure your houses are vacuumed for Eid, boys.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Already did
Alright.
mine.
Inshallah. Did you?
Yeah.
But Eid's like 2 days away.
We call it a night.
Inshallah. I reckon call it a night.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And looking forward to your comments as per usual. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.